I'm out here in these streets, y'all, on my way to Pleasant Hill, North Carolina. I'm actually going to get this damn driver's side window fixed. It needs a new damn motor in it. So I'm on my way to do that on this so-called New Year's Eve. And I wanted to come in here and just, talk to y'all about so-called 2020, so-called New Year's, and where I'm hoping that we go as a people during this year, where I've seen us be as a people during the year so-called 2019. Now, the reason I'm saying so-called is because it is very, problematic to me that we deem the month or the so-called day, January 1st, the new year, is problematic to me because we understand now, if you do any amount of research, that the actual so-called new year is in the spring. I know we use these definitions and these quantifying terms to figure out days and times and then months and years and all this shit. I believe all of it is made up shit. But common sense would say that the spring is the beginning or the new beginning. Therefore, that's when I will honor a new year. I talked about this last year as well. Now, I understand people got to get out here, get drunk as fuck, make their fake ass resolutions to keep up with the social engineering process that we are kind of born into. It's not really, you don't have a choice. New Year's was set in stone before you were even born. So, we are a product of traditions. Now, I don't believe we always have to practice the traditions the way that we are taught to, but I do understand that's what people do. So this is why I use the term so-called, but this is so-called New Year. Everybody will be celebrating, everybody will be giving their takes on the years and things like that during this time. Now, I've watched us as a people grow slightly. And slight growth is still some growth. I've watched us grow slightly. There have been people that have come and, to my channel or send me messages speaking on, the things I've done for them, the way I've helped them look at life. And that to me means everything. Regardless of what day, what year it is, that means everything to me, that somebody such as myself, who isn't pushing any type of, propaganda, who isn't, I'm just on here trying to instill pride into black people. And I love getting messages that, it's working. Because that's what I'm all about here. So I really, really do appreciate those messages and hope we continue to move forward with our pride and kind of instilling that pride into ourselves, and then likewise instilling that pride into our children. That's been the biggest thing for me all year, is just staying in my lane and having people that are responding to the messages that I put on here on YouTube or out on my social media. Now, I've watched the so-called conscious community continue this downward spiral of competition, petty beefs, roast, dramatics, theatrics. I've watched us engage on a path of destruction. And, I'm hoping that the people who are doing this, the people that are walking this path, that are actually trying to see black people grow, will see the error in their ways, as to where we can't seem to have disagreements without being disrespectful. We can't seem to have disagreements without being extra as fuck, all on social media. As you will notice, and if you're paying attention, YouTube does not demonetize black people going at each other's heads. They're not trying to block anything about black people going at each other's heads. I am hoping that not only the content providers, but also the people, the audiences. I don't think that a lot of us that, I guess, well, a lot of you guys that watch these videos, you don't understand the power you have as an audience and the energy that you're feeding off of. If you would hold the people accountable that are engaging in these behaviors, then they wouldn't have a choice but to stop engaging in the behaviors or lose your support. This is where we should be, as we're giving everybody all these ultimatums. We looking at the white man giving him ultimatums, tangibles or else, or, you know, black agenda or else. We're giving everybody ultimatums but us. I think it's time that we spread these ultimatums down to the people who are providing content for you on YouTube or via social media. It's a whole lot of petty shit going on amongst people who are too old to be engaged in a whole lot of this bullshit that's going on. And we have to look at the fact that that is what attracts black people, and we have to try to change our frequencies as to what we're taking in, what we find entertaining. We got to change that, because that's problematic. We understand that that's problematic if you're paying attention, and it's just not a good look. Now, I'm not sitting here suggesting that everybody can work together, because people have different missions. So to try to mesh everybody in together, that's not a workable solution. But what can be done is we have somewhat of respect for each other. Unless somebody is full-blown motherfucking cooning or co-opting, and these people must be called out. The people who are misleading black people, these people must be called out. They must be. But we have a whole lot of petty shit going on right now in the black community. We are still engaging in this black man versus the black woman, and vice versa. We're still engaging in that type of behavior coming into so-called 2020, and it is disappointing for me to see. As I've told you guys, I was going to be watching more YouTube videos as I'm on the road. I have more time on my hands to do so. It's been disappointing as to what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing, and how we're engaging, how we're conducting ourselves in this so-called conscious community. We're supposed to be above the petty and above the dramatics, and that would be what would make us even fit to be providing and pushing a message. That's the whole point of it. At least that's the way I perceive it. But you know, we are still being stagnant in this area. And I think it's time for us to hold black people accountable, as we hold the white man and his mama accountable, and we need to hold each other accountable as well, respectfully. Now, when it comes to the white man, I don't give a fuck how y'all talk to that motherfucker, him and his mama. The way you go in on them, I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. But how we engage with each other needs to drastically change, because we're not doing anything but hurting ourselves and causing division amongst each other. And that's something that I want to see us do better about. Now, I know a lot of y'all gonna be making resolutions and shit, and I want black people to finally make the resolution, or at least come to the agreement with yourself, because that's all a resolution is. It's an agreement you make with yourself. That's all it is. And this is not something that you should be waiting on a so-called New Year's to do. You can make agreements with yourself on a goddamn daily basis. I need black people to focus on killing their inner coon. Some of you may have caught my live stream that I did on so-called Christmas Eve, and you know, you caught that live stream where I talked about killing an inner coon, and how this has never made a resolution of any kind, never made an agreement of any kind. We have to be better about that. Like, we have to kill that little self-hater inside of you, to kill that person that cowers in front of white people, that cowers in front of coon-ass black people, who is afraid to be black and proud. Because a lot of us are afraid. And again, I'm here to show you how to do it. with no fear whatsoever. But a lot of us continue to be afraid. We're worried about jobs. We're worried about how people are going to look at us. We're worried about how society is going to look at us. It's time out for being afraid. Because this is what we have to get together amongst ourselves. The avenue of politics isn't going to help us here at all. This is something we have to get together amongst ourselves to where we are afraid to be black and proud. Year in and year out, we're afraid. We have other black people shaming the black people there who are black and proud. It's time out for trying to please these people. That time has came, and it should be eradicated right now. From this point forward, fuck all the coons, self-haters, turncoats, sellouts. Fuck them all. The people who don't understand why you so serious about certain issues. Fuck them. It doesn't matter whether they understand or not. Because this life has provided enough evidence that where it should be irrefutable, the stance that you should have as a black person in this country or across this world. It should be irrefutable. The mindset you're supposed to have daily as you wake up in this skin. It should be irrefutable in this era, era of technology. It should be irrefutable. The people who are choosing to quote unquote live their best life and ignore this shit, fuck them. Fuck them. And I don't give a damn if it's your mama. I'm sorry, but that's how you gotta be. Your daddy. I'm sorry, but that's how you gotta be. Siblings, cousins, so-called family, so-called friends, all that shit, no. Fuck them all. You stop trying to impress these motherfuckers because they just leading you down the path of the coon. And you have to make a decision. The path of the ignorant. The individualistic mindset that we have. When everybody else on this planet move as a tribe based on skin color. I get so tired. I'm hoping that we can get rid of this shit in the so-called 2020. I get so tired of black people acting like they don't know how to band on skin color alone. Everybody else does. When it comes time to unite, white folk don't sit around talking about whether they Irish or Italian or Scandinavian. They don't sit around arguing about whether they from Texas, whether they from New York, Canada. They don't argue about stupid shit like that. They bond on their whiteness alone. Because they understand they are at their most powerful when they band on skin color alone. Black people, this is something that you could take from the white man and his mama and their minions all across this world. They also have made it a vested interest into keeping their bloodlines pure. You black people who believe that you're going to end racism by fucking white people, put that shit away. That's a mentality that has to stop. That doesn't make any sense. Genetic annihilation is not going to end racism at all. You swirlers or whatever the fuck y'all calling yourselves, stop cooning. And if you're going to fuck with a white person, I'm going to hold you to the standard that that white person needs to be on the motherfucking front lines fighting institutional racism, or they ain't worth a fuck, and you are not worth a fuck as a black person yourself. That's the standard at which we should hold these swirlers, and particularly these swirlers that decide to get on platforms and talk about black issues. You don't get to talk about black issues. You don't get to come out here and act like you pro-black, and you laying around with a white person who you can't even inspire to use their white privilege to fight racism. You don't get to say a goddamn word. Now, if you over there just living like a coon, you know, just living your best life or whatever like that, then fine. But you don't get to talk about no black issues, and you can't even inspire your white counterpart, your white mate, to use their privilege to fight institutional racism or even bring awareness to it. Black people, I hope this is the year of non-forgiving, of being unforgiving. I'm going to cover this in a separate story, but we know that we just watched this boy this year, this black brother, his family, forgive the white bitch Geiger for killing their brother. They tried to sue the city. The city said, fuck you. I saw you hugging the bitch. Quit acting like you mad. I'm going to do a whole separate commentary on that. But I hope this is the year of black people being unforgiving. I know through that religion that you motherfuckers are still holding on to, less and less of black people are holding on to that religion. So I'm mad love and respect for that, letting that bullshit mentality go. And if you really look at this thing, you'll see that black people and white folk reading from the same book, but it seems like white folk taking a completely different message from it than black people. Black people are taking the cowardice route. They're using religion to forgive and be cowards. I can only hope that black people stop that shit in the year so-called 2020. I don't think it's all going to stop at once, but I do hope that we see what that path leads to and we decide to put that shit away. I'm hoping in the year 2020, black people decide to hold these black churches accountable for teaching you something more than the so-called word of God. Black churches should be held accountable. There should be self-defense classes in these churches, gun ownership classes in these churches. These things should be happening. Financial literacy in these churches. Y'all should be holding these churches accountable for the institutions that they are holding, or the congregation that they get together on every Sunday and talk about some goddamn Jesus. Hold your pastor accountable for still having white Jesus in that church, laying and acting like this motherfucker done died on the cross. I wouldn't know white folk die for no damn black folk. That's been shown. Y'all need to hold your church accountable. That's what you should be doing. Self-defense, gun ownership, financial literacy, group economics, all these things should be pushed in your church in between the readings from Psalms and the amens and the goddamn collection plate. Y'all need to hold these churches accountable. That's the only way the church is going to change, is if the congregation, the same thing I said about this so-called conscious community, is if the congregations start holding these people accountable. Make them be about more. This is what we need to do as a people to better ourselves and moving forward. We have to stop letting people take advantage of us. Even us. I ain't gonna leave us out. Even us. Stop letting people take advantage of you. Stop running around worshiping these white folk and looking for white acceptance all the time. Those days should be over. The evidence is very clear and apparent. Our ancestors have been trying to tap into the consciousness of black people for decades. Let's honor them by making sure their time wasn't wasted. Their dedication wasn't wasted. Let's honor them by being unapologetic. That's how we must honor our ancestors. And I feel like that's the mood that we should go into so-called 2020 with. Stop worshiping rich people. I'm listening to people talk about financial literacy and saying that we're supposed to listen to rich black people who are fucking sellouts. This doesn't make any sense, y'all. These motherfuckers are sellouts. And the way they got their money was selling out their people, being tools for white supremacy. I imagine you can make plenty of money being a tool for white supremacy. Look at how big these black Republican channels are on YouTube. You think they worried about being banned? You could do a lot if you just, turn against your own people. And having money does not mean shit. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that they're intelligent or anything. Now I understand that securing a bag and getting money is a cost of living in this reality. But come on, y'all. We putting celebrities up on a goddamn pedestal in an effort to be so-called woke because they got money. So we need to be following them. They're not telling you how to get no money. They're not talking to you about how to get no money. They telling you that they got it. That's it. That's all. We have to get out of that mentality where we are worshiping these fucking celebrities to no end. They need to be held accountable as well. And I don't give a damn if they use big words like T.I. Still a coon. Still. And we got to be mindful of this. Because our kids are watching us, y'all. Our kids are paying attention to everything that we're doing. And they are what we are. They will be what we teach them and mold them to be. That's the bottom line. We cannot look out here at these children and shake our heads at them without first shaking our heads at ourselves. These things must change. So I really do hope that black people are paying attention to what's going on out here. I will be still out here doing my thing. I'll be on this road, y'all, giving y'all my perspectives on things that happen, showing you how to have your pride and keep your motherfucking head up no matter what out here in this world. I will be showing you this. I'll continue on my path. Regardless, I will not be knocked off. Doesn't matter to me. Hopefully everybody is setting the standard high for what you expect from yourself first. Because a lot of times we like to set standards for what we want from everybody else, but we don't set any standards for ourselves first. And we think that we gonna get what we supposedly are owed or what we deserve, and you ain't set no standards for your goddamn self. You ain't holding yourself accountable for shit. That's the first step. And we have to do that first and hold ourselves accountable and hold this society and this reality accountable as well. But we have to hold ourselves to a standard first. There's a lot of talks about codes and things like that in the year of so-called 2019. Being on code. What does this mean? What is being codified? Right now, what I'm noticing with black people, especially the ones that talk about the codes and all this shit, is a whole lot of off-code shit happening. And I'm hoping that people pivot. I'm hoping that people pivot. And get on code. And let's move forward together. Because we're not going to move forward. Black men, you're not moving forward without the black woman. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It don't matter how mad you are, how much your heart been broken. It don't matter. Black woman, you're not moving forward without the black man. It's not going to happen. There isn't an equation that equals progress with y'all two fighting each other every goddamn day. With you devaluing your woman and with you trying to emasculate your man. There's nothing coming from that. Y'all in the same goddamn boat. Suffering from the same psychological trauma because you are black. There's nothing coming from that. Y'all need to cut that shit the fuck out. I'll be continuing to speak against it, but I'm just one person. But I'm going to hold you motherfuckers accountable. I am. Because y'all ain't leading nobody nowhere with that bullshit. You're supposed to be bringing people together, not creating more division. That's just what it is. But hopefully this message will be received. I know it was a long message, but hell, you know, we wrapping up a whole year and talking about the beginning of a so-called new one, and then, you know, it's going to be a little longer. Y'all know we're going to be in here getting our laugh on too. Don't forget about that. We're going to get in here and get our laugh on too. And I'll be in here showing you how to do this shit. I will. We're going to get our laugh on too. When things are funny, we're going to get our laugh on. We're going to keep it real cool, but we're going to stay focused. We are going to stay focused, and we're going to keep our eyes on the motherfucking prize, and the prize is our black children seeing their black parents be about black pride and being unapologetic and saying, fuck white acceptance, fuck what white people think about me, fuck what coons even think, fuck everybody. I'm going to hold my head. I'm going to hold my head up because I got kids that are watching. That's how we should be thinking. But that's all the fuck I wanted to say, y'all. Y'all comment if you feel the need to comment. Let me know what type of I don't want to call them resolutions, but you know, what type of agreements you've made with yourself, if you feel like sharing those, whether it be lose weight and you know, stop smoking, drinking. A lot of you motherfuckers need to stop being dysfunctional. Y'all won't put that on the list. Stop being problematic. You know, these things never make the list, but either way, let me know what type of list you guys have made for yourselves. Again, y'all, we're going to do this shit. I'll be in here for the love of my people. Y'all can follow me on social media. Links in the description box. Order a t-shirt. I've been adding new designs on the site, so check me out. We got hoodies and everything like that over there as well. Check me out. Check out my designs. Let me know what you think. Mad love to the people who have already ordered t-shirts from me or sweaters from me or hoodies or whatever from me, and that are giving me suggestions for certain designs that they want to see. Mad love to everybody who's doing that, because I am listening, and I am trying to you know, make what you guys want, because it's time that we put ourselves on our clothing. It's time for that. Time for us to represent ourselves, and now let February be the only month that we honor our ancestors. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I'm out.